I have given you a certain formula of calculating all values found in great circles. I have just stated this. I have given you a formula which is theta over 360 times 2 times pi times r. R is the radius of the earth. R is the radius of the earth. This radius of the earth should not give you a lot of stress, because anytime that you are going to be given a question, it's going to be given what are you going to use for the calculation of that particular distance. Therefore, now nataka tujaribu to calculate one of the distances using some specific points. I have point P and I have point G. I have point B there and I have point G. So the first thing from the formula, what is the angle difference? What is the angle difference? So we are at the point, P, which is 60 degrees north. Here we can be able to see it is 60 degrees north. G, it is 40 degrees north also. What is the angle difference between P and G? Now, what is the angle difference between them? So, moja iko 60, ingine iko 40. How many degrees are they apart from each other? It's going to be 60 minus 40. I think we are getting it clear. We are at 60, where P is, it is at 60, and G, it is at 40. So, from 40 to 60, the angle difference between them is going to be 20 degrees. Therefore, we are talking about now distance. Let us use this particular point here. We want to calculate distance between B and G. B and G. The angle difference, which we call theta, we have said is going to be 20 degrees. Between B and G, B is at 60, G is at 40. The angle difference between the two towns, it is just 20 degrees. That is 60 minus 40. That is 20 degrees. Now, if we have theta, how can we be able to calculate the distance between B and G, given that the radius of the earth is 6370? Now, this is what we're going to do. Where that particular point where we have theta, we are going to replace it with 20 degrees. Where we have radius, we are going to replace it with 6370 degrees. That means we are going to have something like this. We're going to have something like this. We are going to have 20 out of 360 times 2 times 22 all over 7 times radius, because the radius was given, this was 6370. Now, what will be the answer for that? What will be the answer for that? For those who are listening to this particular lesson, can you calculate this and then give me the exact answer? Calculate that and then give me the exact answer. Give me the answer for that. Rukia?
Madam?
Yes? Can you hear what I've been talking about?
Yeah. It is 22, 24.4.
Umeweka kwa calculator umepata jibu kama hiyo? It is 20 over 360 times 2, 22 over 7 times 63.
Times 22
so what is the answer?
70. 24.4. 24.4 kilometers.
0.4 kilometers. Very good. So that's what you're supposed to find.
Yeah.
Now, nataka kila mtu asikilize mzuri. Here we are talking about a certain concept which is very important for you. We have just stated that we have two major circles. We have those particular lines which are called longitudes. We have those lines which are called latitudes. But now we are specifically talking about longitudes. The longitudes are categorized as the great circles. great circles use this particular formula. That is theta over 360 2 pi r. Now, we are expected to understand what is theta. Theta is the angle difference between the two towns, for example, the 2 points. Now, if we have that particular thing, then we are supposed to ask ourselves, if we have theta, we have the radius, can we be able to have the answer? Very easy. It's going to be 20 over 360 times 2 times 22 over 7 times 370, which is going to give us approximately 2224.4 kilometers. That is with the points B and Q. Now, I want us just to move again. Let us calculate between point N and Q. We have what N here. We have what Q. We have what N there. We have what Q. Now, can you give me the angle difference again? I'm repeating because we did it, yes. But now, what is the angle difference again from N to Q? We want to use it for our calculation because it's along the great circle. We stated that from N to the equator, it is 40. It is 40 degrees plus from the equator to Q, it is 10 degrees, giving us a total of 50 degrees. So this is the total angle difference between N and the Q. Therefore, we're going to be able to use this theta to calculate the total distance from N to Q. Now, I want to use this space again. I want to use this particular space. Now it's going to be theta over 360 times 2 times 22 over 7 times radius. That is going to be 50 all over 360 times 2 times 22 over 7 times the distance of the earth. Depends on what you are going to be given as the distance of the earth. It's going to be 6370. Now, can someone calculate this again? 50 over 360 times 2 times 22 over 7 times 6370. What will be the answer? Rama, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, can you give me that now? Can you give me the answer? 50 over 360 times 2 times 22 over 7 times 6370.
55, 61.
55,
61.1.
Can you talk? Can you talk? 5.
5.
Taja number kwa number
55.
moja. 5.
5.
5. 55, 61.1.
Come closer to the mic.
So can you come closer to the mic ndio mwongee nisikie?
55,
61.1.
0.1. It is 55, 61.1 kilometers. Sinivo?
0.1. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I want to give you certain assignment. Just a small assignment. A very small assignment. Nataka muangalie between... now, I want you to just look at the following. We are on the equator now. Along the equator, I want this particular point. Let I call it point A. Upper, niite point A. Let I call this particular line to be 70 degrees towards the west, this line. Another line is found at this particular point. I want this particular 2 points, that is A and B. We have A here, we have B there. Okay, can you give me the angle difference between A and B and then calculate the distance between A and B? So this is what I want you to do. I want you to do A, give me theta for A and B. Then B, nipatie distance between A and B. Can you try that? Theta kwanza, that is the angle difference between A and B. I want to see if somebody has been following this. Between A and B, give me theta, because it's very easy. I want you to just look from A all the way to the prime meridian, all the way to B. Now, what will be the total theta? Itakuwa ngapi? Eh?
Theta ni 105.
105. Very good. So
Theta ni
theta
105
equals to
degrees.
105 degrees.
Five. No. Five.
Hold on. Mwalimu.
Yes.
Yes, we are there. Yes.
Now, kuna mtu
Distance
amekalculate
ni 11, 6, 7. Yeah.
What is
Distance
the
ni
distance?
11,
11?
678, 678.3 kilometer.
Point what? Point?
Point 3,
0.3 kilometers.
3 kilometer.
Very good. Let us just confirm very quickly. So it is correct. It's correct. It's 1167.8.33 kilometers. I think you are correct now. Now, nataka nichore a new graph. Then, from that particular point, we are going to move to something different. We are going to move to something different. We have been dealing with great circles. Now, before we go out of the great circle, I want us to do one more thing. Before we go out of the great circle, we want to deal with one more thing. Now, nataka nichore hivi. I have this particular graph. I've drawn a new one. Let I call this particular line to be 0 degrees, that is the equator. Then we have the prime meridian. First of all, before you start anything, you must draw these particular two lines. The first line must be the equator, and the second one must be the prime meridian. That is where you start from. Then I want to give you some few towns which are found on top of this particular thing. I want to call this 30 degrees north. I want to call this 60 degrees north. Huko chini niite 25 degrees south. Then huko chini niite, for example, 70 degrees south.
Those who do not know how this was gotten.
Now, I want us to draw another line here. Let I call this particular line to be 50 degrees east. I want to draw another line there, which is called 45 degrees west. So I want to call this particular town to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and then we have K there. Now, before we continue here, I want to just illustrate some few concepts of those who did not understand what that did. So here, for us to calculate the distance between A and B of the other graph that we put, it was to be 105 divided by 360 times 2 times 22 out of 7, and then times 6370. That is the radius of the earth. If you would be able to calculate this particular thing, itakupatia the answer that we had already written down there. So this is what you are supposed to do, and then find the distance between those particular distance which you call A and B. So that is what we call great circles now. So I want you to just understand, if one asks you the distance moving downward that way, on this particular longitude, anywhere, so long as it's a longitude and so long as it's a latitude, you use this particular formula. That is theta over 60 times 2 times 20 over 7 times radius. It will be able to give you the exact answer that we require for us to calculate everything. Now nataka tusonga tena. Tuangalie something different kidogo.
Yes,
Now, if we
I have a
want to
question.
go out of this and then calculate in terms of nautical miles, what are we supposed to do? In terms of nautical miles, what are we going to do? Now, we are still on the great circles. We are using a different globe, yes, but we are under great circles. We're going to be able to see those particular lines which are running downwards. Now, we want now to get the answers in terms of nautical miles. That is another way of calculating distance, because distance can be calculated in two ways. One, in terms of kilometers. Another one is in terms of nautical miles. So how can we be able to do it? It is very easy. So what we do, distance is going to be 60 times theta. Going to be 60 times theta. That is the formula we're going to use there. 60 times theta. That is how we get the distance in nm. Nautical miles is abbreviated as nm. So for us to calculate the distance in nautical miles from one point to the other, so long as we are on the great circle, we are going to use 60 theta. For example, now I want us to move from point A to point D. From point A up there to point D down there. Now we want just to see what is the angle difference first. We must know theta, angle difference between A and D. What is the answer between the angle difference between A and D? A and D. A, it has 60 degrees north. D, it has 30 degrees north also. So the angle difference between A and D is going to be the difference between 60 and 30, which is going to be 30 degrees. That is the angle difference. If we want now to have the distance, it's going to be very much easy. It's going to be 60 times angle difference, which is 30, giving us 1800 nm. 1800 nm means 1800 nautical miles. So that's what you're supposed to get from this particular concept of nautical miles. That's simple. Just take theta, which is the angle difference, multiplied with 60. Then you will be able to get the distance in terms of nautical miles. That is as easy as that. Now, I want to give you some few questions. In terms of nautical miles, I want you to do the following. Can you try to do this? Now, I want you to just calculate distance in nautical miles. A, nataka muangalia between A and G. A and G. B, I want you to calculate between C and I. C koko juu, I koko chini. That is C and I. C, I want you to calculate between B. Awoni? Rama? Awoni cha inaandika? Kuna shida gani?
Angle.
Angle gani? So you are not thinking them still. Is it giving you a problem to look at these particular things? Rama, can you look at this? This particular line where APC is found is called 60 degrees north. Let us just illustrate. APC is found at 60 towards the north. DEF is found at 30 degrees towards the north. And this is the equator, which is found at 0. GH and I, they are found at 25 degrees south. 25 degrees south. J and K are found at 70 degrees south. 70 degrees south. This line, which is moving downwards, is called 45 degrees west. This line, which is passing here, is called 50 degrees east. I think I have illustrated it clearly. Out of that now, I want you to just see what is the angle difference between A and G, and then calculate the distance in nautical miles. C and I, and then get theta, and then calculate in nautical miles. B and H, and then calculate theta and the distance in nautical miles. Who has done AG? AG? Can you give me some answers for this? From A to G. First, what is the angle difference?
That's 5.
Is from A to
That's 5.
From A to G. Can you look? Can you see? A is here. Just imagine from A all the way to the equator, it is already 60. Yeah, from A to the equator, it's already 90 degrees, yeah, 60 degrees. From the equator to where G is another 25. So it cannot be able to be the one that you're telling me. It's going to be from here to here.
85. 85.
Itakuwa? Theta will be?
85.
85 degrees. Very good.
85.
That is very good. Now, can you calculate now in nautical miles? What's the distance between A and G? Distance, which is going to be simply 60 times 85. 60 times
5100.
the what?
5100.
100.
And so ukijaribu ukiandika 5100 nm, you have just completed it. It is just 5100 nautical miles. Then can you try CI and the PH? Just to try very fast. Nataka mjaribu haraka haraka. Give me that first. Give me the theta for C and I.
$85.
Copy. So there is one thing that you are supposed to see.
85.
A to G, and C to I, they are found at the same positions. So inamaanisha kwamba theta is going to be 85 degrees. So inamaanisha even the distances are going to be the same. Now, that is very easy because they are found at the same positions. They have the same angles. They use the same formula. Therefore, it's going to be 5100 nautical miles. Okay. What about? Okay, let us change this to be B and E, because they are getting us the same answers. Okay, can you find BE? Okay, let us use BJ.
Beta ni dati.
Okay, I have changed C. I want us to use a different here. Number C, nataka tutumie P and S. P and S. We have B here and we have S here. I'm very sorry. Can you change this? B, S. P to S. What is the angle difference first? P to S.
60.
That is 60 degrees. Very good. That give me now the distance in nautical miles.
That's 600.
Itakuwa 3600 nautical miles. Now, so far, I think for those who are listening carefully, we have already gained some few concepts. So I want you to go back to KLP books and then try to find some questions. First of all, finding the positions. After finding the positions, go as far as calculating the distances. But I want you just to calculate the distance in only two ways. One, nataka muende kwa great circles. Msiende kwa small circles, muende kwa great circles only. Muangalie in terms of kilometers, you try, and then you also try those questions which are in terms of nautical miles. And then I think the next lesson we will be able to start from small circles. So next lesson we are going to start from small circles, so you can be able to see what will be the next concept. So I wish you all the best. Okay, kuna mtu akona question? Okay, any question from the participants? Any question? Rama,
Madam.
do you have a question?
Yes, madam.
Which question? Can you give me a question? Can you ask the question?
The questions you are saying tufanye ni gani?
From GLB. So just open the book,
Oh,
the
sawa,
first
thank you.
instances. Uangalie the first exercise, the first question, and the first exercise and the second exercise. It's going to ask you, the first exercise is going to ask you on how to find the dimensions, positions. The second one, you're just calculating, just to go and just try to calculate the distances using the great circles. Another question? Na mtu akona question tena? Okay. I wish you all the best. Let us meet in the next